Okay. Okay, listen. I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this. I'm wearing a tallis. I'm wearing a kippah. I never went to Jewish school. I don't know really much about it. But I do know it's something that I heard. Now, whether it's true or not, there's a lot of things that we're not 100% sure. But I heard that Adam and Eve were either in Iraq or Iran as the Garden of Eden. I fear it was Iran because he ran like hell. After he ate the forbidden fruit, he had to run. He was Adam. Adam. Who said Adam? Adam who said? Adam Hussein? Adam came back to be against everybody because he did it wrong and now he wanted to punish everybody. So he came back to where he was born as the first one, only to be the bad one again. Adam and Eve. Adam Eve. Adam Hussein. Adam Hussein. Hussein what? Saddam Hussein. I think the Garden of Eden was somewhere around there. You see, it was into Iraq and they ran to Iran. E for the eye of the robot, of the fleshy robot. We're the fleshy robots. Everything is backwards. And how do I figure that out? Because of the Greeks. Because everything that happens with the Greeks is backwards. Alpha, Omega. My name is Omega Alpha. You see, when you start from the back end, you follow your tracks back home. Everything is a little upside down, so we should understand it in another way. We have to work with the mind in order to make the mind learn to understand the difference between all the stories of all the religions. Today, why is today any different from the time of Jesus? Why is today any different from the time of Adam? Because Adam was one, and who had fun as one? No one. We were more and more and more to what I call the national soup. The Big Apple. Big Apple, poison apple. You bring the apple to your teacher. Yet when Pinocchio had it, he never made it to school. And then there was it Sleeping Beauty, who ate the poison apple. And anyways, where am I going with this? Is that today, you see, when they knocked down, when Nostradamus said they're going to knock down these two buildings, however he said it, it was for a reason, because the two buildings are black. And in life, everything is black and white. So they had to come down. Nostradamus knew back then, from the one story to the two stories from the story he said, and the difference of the story, and once you pass on the stories, the buildings grow, and they grew. And now, everybody's asking, why the mosque? The mosque is just a reminder of why the Twin Towers were there. Because they were twins, but they weren't supposed to be twins, because in life, twin equals what? You learn through the differences, you don't learn through the similarities. There's nothing to learn when it's similar. You must find the differences. Therefore, for me, the way I understand it, Adam, Saddam, sad man, and Ben Laden, listen to his name, Ben. I'm a Ben, I am Raphael, or Raphael, or a fail, but I'm not a failure at all. It's the opposite. If I look into my name as being a failure, and I live that way, then I'll be a failure. Raphael, Ben, laser lipa. It's almost like Superman. It's a laser and it's a leap to the sky. For the man who knows, and that's my father, who was born under a double identity since his father died before he was born. Everything will seem a little bit different. Ben Laden. Play with it in English. Play with it in other languages. I don't know enough languages, but Ben Laden, he was sad and he was hiding in the den. He was one of the ants. The ants come marching in. Well, he had to hide out because the ants that came in to kill him because he had the truth. But no one wanted to listen to him because no one likes to hear the truth. So the truth is too easy, and if somebody else knew it, they're jealous. So Ben Laden hid under the ground, and he did nothing. But I remember George of the Jungle, George of the Jungle, watch out for that tree. Or how about the monkey George? You see, there's a backward story to everything. You see, there was no jungle out in Iraq, but we sent the ants in anyways. The ants, the marching bands, they come in at the middle of halftime. The ants come marching in to knock him out, so they knock out the truth of the whole story. Therefore, they must knock him out or put him into hiding so nobody knows the rest of the story. 60 minutes. The reason for yesterday's 10, 10, 10. 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. Our clock only goes to 1,000, it goes to 59, 59, and our years go to 99, 99. Now you see, if you work the abacus right, 99, you see, you got to work the top of the rows and the bottom of the rows. You see, yesterday at midnight, was 0000 time. And for the date of 10-10-10 is 000000 because the abacus calls to use the game of back, tap, rat. I don't know how to say it in Hebrew or how to repronounce it in any other name, but the game in that rule is everything that hits a 10 is all zeros. So we have fallen into zero time right now. And when it falls onto January 1st, you see it's all confusing because we have separated the Jews into two. In fact, then they put it into fours because they became Catholic, and there's so many religions based off of what the Jews started with. And I just want to tell you what I see in French. It's Jewish. In French, it's J-E for je, is I, wish. You see, we all wish we're all Jewish. We needed the differences of the other nationalities in order to find out the truth of all. It was all set up this way because why should God give it to us easy? You see, we're the fingertips of the angels. The 10 is the 10% we need in order to get the spirit, which is a connection. It's only a name for the connection. In French, it's called esprit, because it's the E connection for the E world, for the I fleshy robot. Are you getting this right now? Am I all wrong? Am I off a little bit? We needed all these things because if God gave it all easy, what would it be good on earth? He asked the angels, what do you want to do? And he sent them down, and he sent Adam here, and he sent another one here. After Adam and Eve, he sent one here and one there and one all over the world. And he says, you know what, you guys figure it out yourself. I showed you what to do, and I gave you the rules, and you don't listen. You see, yesterday was zero time. Everything starts over from yesterday. January 1st will be 0001. And the reason for 101 is because we start at zero. It's a point of departure. Otherwise, where are you starting from? You must give it a point. And although it doesn't look like a point, like at the end of a sentence, they made it bigger as they made all the numbers bigger so we can see. So we go we go 0 from the first point. 1, no, it's 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10, but we have 10 fingers, and we only counted. Oh, let me start this over again. 0 to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You see, I counted all the digits, and I only got 9. So we add that 10%, and we get 9.9. We're missing the penny. We're missing the cent, or the sentence, or part of it. The sentence of life is not understanding what's missing and why. You see, the cent is made from copper. Copper is a ground. Therefore, there's copper in the ground. Therefore, copper, if you ever take copper and you want to see how it works, it'll turn green and moldy. So it has to be something that's going to grow instead of disintegrate. Now you need something to reflect, and that's nickel. So the 5 cents and the 10 cents are the center of the earth, giving us the sickness of the mind, the 6 sense that we have. That's the reason for the 6 sense. That's why man is 6 and God is 7, because when one man, when the Savior Messiah comes to be, he'll gain that 1 extra cent. He'll be 7. God will be 7. It'll be 7.7, but it'll be 7.7 on earth, because in the heavens, it'll never be 7.7. It'll have to be 9.7, because God always has to lead by 2. Why does he lead by 2? Because he needs this to block the other side from bumping into him. Just like in tennis, when it's 8-6 for the men, because it's all based on the men is the game. T-ball. A child plays T-ball at 5. The grid, which is the pound key on your telephone, has 9 positions. One of the reasons is because of your story, the story you share, and the understanding of the differences. The angel and his story, the story and the difference, and God, the story and the difference, equals to 9. The grid of the dog pound is 9. The reason for the days of the month, I'm going to try and explain it if I could, is part of the piano that gives it away. You see, the white keys are 52 for 52 weeks in a year, and the black keys are 36. There's 36 numbers on the roulette table, and they're all aces. You see, because the angels are aces, and with us, where the ball falls, that's who we are. I know it's a little complicated. I'm a little tired tonight. So what we do is we have to play with the clock, so we have to have the basic rules. We know that the clock can either be 000, or 0000, with those 2 dots separating, or it can be the time, which is the year, which is 9999. So 9 and 9 on one side, if you add them up, is 18 chai, 9 and 9. The other side, you add them up as chai, 8 and 1 is 9. 8 and 1 is 9 on the other side. Factor out perfect. It's a tie on both sides. You want to multiply it? 8 by 1 is 8. 8 by 1 is 8. Eternity. Turning and turning around and around and around. You have to multiply, divide, subtract, and add. It's an abacus that was created by others that I recreated to work with the times we are in. It's called the evolution of the abacus. It's the same thing as a rising bubble in the ocean. If you go to the bottom of the ocean, that bubble will be squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. By the time it comes to the top, it's all tiny little bubbles. But at the beginning it was big. Now if you want to go down to the ocean floor where the Gulf and the oil leak was, well, there's a cavity. Everybody knows what a cavity is. You fill it in. Or if you don't fill it in and it's in the water, it's air. And air rises under the sea. And according to the scientists, the sea is rising 13 feet a day. But as soon as it gets to a certain pressure of the ocean to where it can rise by itself, it'll shoot up and it'll shoot out a cannon of water. And then all the oil is still in the bottom. But what happens with that? Well, I'll tell you. If we have a hurricane, and the last hurricane was Igor, now the next one we have to repeat the I because we always have to finish off with a woman, so it'll be Ingrid. And if there's an interruption in the hurricane with Ingrid, it'll be another male, which will be Johnny. Or in the card game, it's a Jack. Jack and Ingrid will come together, whip themselves from the west coast towards the east and north, hitting the inside of the Gulf, which is like a sea, and it's going to rebound, bing, bang, and turn into the 5-point star. And once it turns into that, it grabs that cement and it turns it around like a screw, and it drills down to where the rest of the oil is, and everybody knows the oil floats to the top. And once that happens and the oil floats, something has to fill in the cavity. So the natural ways of the universe fill in the cavity by filling it in with the sand from the closest reef source. Mexico, California, Mexicali, if you say it right, it's a mix. Calais, the Calais, it means to get stuck in French. So if I'm right, within the next, let's say by berg, a berg like an iceberg, but it's a complete opposite. See, the ocean floor is going to rise until it blows itself up, and California and Mexico sink right in. Hypothesis. Only hypotheses. Again, somewhere in the Greeks. See, I'm not working with anybody right now. I'm being blocked and pushed around by a lot of people. I can't get my work done. I can't relax enough. So I'm just giving you the basis of the knowledge that I have, and I have a lot more. Why? Where does it come from? Let's not count it for now. But I will tell you one thing. In order to count to 10, we have to use 11 numbers. But using the 11 numbers, we only get the 9999. So therefore, that's the reason for the 11. Now, if you go to the Mayan calendar, there's 20 months of 18 days and 5 days of bad luck. The reason for the 5 days of bad luck is because they don't fit perfectly, so it's like a fraction. Anyways, from October 1st to the 5th for me, it was very bad luck, but I was born on the 4th. And in T-ball, 4 balls, you have a walk, a free pass to first base. You see, there's an abacus. Every single game, casino game, baseball, hockey, football, soccer, the design on the ball is the bee. It's the beehive. Now, everybody knows the basis of life is to go in a direction by starting off as a point. So if you go from one point, and you go up, and you come back, you've done 2 directions to 1 point. Now, if you want to go east and west, you're going 2 and 2, so that's 8, that's 16. Now, the cow chews the cud, so that would be the 16, what is it, the 16 passages in the heart? I'm a little mixed up with this, I need a little help, but the bee is a reproductive. The bee does not poof. The bee sticks its rear end in something, it solves the problem for one thing, it reinserts it to something else, it solves the problem in, let's say, the pumpkin or whatever it is, because once the bee pollinates, it's rebirth again. And the bee goes to its nest, and he poops out the rest, and that's honey, and we eat bee poop. Bee poop is natural sugar, and it helps to rejuvenate, so honey must be good. The same thing for the maypole, the Mabel the cow in one of those TV programs. Perfect May, the May of Flowers is the first 7 days of May. I got sick on the 6th of May, so when this thing starts to happen again, it will happen on the 7th of May, meaning a full 3 week of May. Now, if I calculate right, I'm going to check the calendar, that means May 7th must fall on a Saturday. That would make it perfect. That day will be the day that all communication will start to diminish. The reason it diminishes, 2 reasons. One is either A, the government, who is trying to scare us, and they're doing it purposely. That's what we're going to think.